It is officially record prediction time. That's right, folks. It is time for me to finally lock in my record prediction for the Chicago Bears for this upcoming season. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, hit that subscribe button. You are not going to want to miss out. So today, I'm giving you guys my official prediction with the season literally next week, right? We got the game against the Titans in week 1. It's starting, so I'm going to go ahead and put pen to paper here with you guys, make it official, and give you guys my prediction. Now, instead of doing it the traditional way, which is just by going through every single game and give you guys my analysis, I'm going to do a little different here, all right? I'm going to switch it up, and we're going to go ahead and kind of do this by chunks in terms of the season, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at, hey, which games seem like easy wins, which game seems like, oh, these are guaranteed losses, and then kind of everything else in between. And then eventually you'll hear my record prediction at the very end when we count everything up. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we go. Let's start with showing you guys the Bears schedule. And I've mentioned this a bunch of times, so you should know this by now if you guys follow me on the channel, that the Bears have a fairly easy schedule. It is the third easiest schedule by win percentage in all of football. And even by 2024 Vegas projected win totals, it is also the third easiest. So I'm going to go ahead and say that, yeah, the Bears record should be fairly solid if, knock on wood, the team stays healthy and we don't have any major injuries to key players especially. So when I take a look at the schedule, first I'm going to go through and see if there's wins that you can go ahead and kind of lock in and say, hey, if the team stays healthy, right, we should be able to beat these teams because they're just inferior teams. Point blank period. They're just not better than the Bears are expected to be. And going down the schedule here, and I see in week 5 we play the Panthers. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in as a dub, okay? We play the Panthers at home especially, so yeah, give me that as a victory. Week 8, we play the Commanders. Now, this is in Washington, and you could say the Commanders are going to be improved. We don't know how good Jaden Daniels will be, but he's, you know, a top draft pick, so he should be fairly decent. And, you know, they have a new team with new ownership, and basically the Commanders are not the old Commanders, but there's still, you know, some time left for them to get better, and I don't think it's going to happen so soon. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the Bears beat the Commanders there as well, just because, like I said, it's too soon for them. I think the Bears have more talent. Then we go to week 9. We play the Cardinals in Arizona, and I like the Cardinals, but their defense is atrocious. I think we should be able to go ahead and put up as many points as we want here. And offensively, they're solid. Kyler Murray's a good quarterback. They have Marvin Harrison Jr., but outside of that, I don't see a lot there. James Conner's a decent running back. They drafted Trey Benson. You know, behind MHJ, what do you really have there? I don't see too much there. So I feel like the Cardinals also aren't going to be very good. They'll put up points, but they're also going to give up a lot of points. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is a dub as well for the Bears. And the week 10, the Patriots, to me, this is going to be arguably the worst team in football. I feel like they have the least amount of talent in the NFL, and they're not even going to start Drake May. They're going to be starting Jacoby Brissett, so you don't even get that it factor of what if Drake May pops. Maybe, but by week 10, he could be starting. We'll see. My point is, they're still the least talented team in football, so I'm going to go ahead and say the Bears beat the Patriots. So right off the bat, that's 4 wins, but we haven't even gotten to the division games yet, okay? So 4 wins that I'm locking in right now for the Chicago Bears. And then when we get to the division, which doesn't even start until week 11, the division games, I will say that I'm going to be very conservative here and only lock in 1 more victory, which is going to be a game against the Vikings, who are going to be the worst team in the division. I'm going to say that we beat them at home. And I'm not even going to count any other games as, you know, locks, because obviously we know Detroit's very good. They're probably going to win the division. Green Bay's Green Bay, right? They're solid. They made the playoffs last year, so you can't lock in any games against them. And Minnesota, even though I could be like, oh, we should be able to beat the Vikings. They're starting Sam Darnold. The defense is not very good. Division games are tough, man. We know this. So I'm not even going to say we sweep them. All right, I'm going to say at least we get 1. So 5 wins right there for the Chicago Bears right off the bat. Panthers, Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots, Vikings. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree on that, but I'm locking in 5 wins right there. Okay? Now, let's talk about the guaranteed losses. Okay? We're going to go from positive to negative here. And taking a look at the guaranteed losses for the Chicago Bears, I'm going to go ahead and say that I see 2 clear ones. The first one I see is Week 14 against the 49ers in San Fran. Now, the 49ers just went to the Super Bowl. They're arguably the best team in the NFC. They probably are to a lot of people. So that, to me, is a loss. And then we play the Texans on the road in Week 2 as a primetime game. Now, the Texans made the playoffs last year. C.J. Stroud's a stud. We know that they have weaponry for days. Arguably the only receiving core that probably has better weapons than the Bears. You can make that argument for. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably a loss. Although I'm not ready to say they're Super Bowl contenders yet, but the Texans are going to be really good and their defense is very solid as well. So 2 losses right there. And then looking down the schedule, I mean, do I see any other games where I'm like, oh, it's a guaranteed loss? I feel like the Packers are going to beat us at least one time. There's no way I see us kind of sweeping them. So that's probably 1 loss right there. And then the Lions, right? I mean, could we beat Detroit twice? Yeah, we definitely could. We played them really tough last year. So, you know what? I'm just going to say 3 losses and I'm locking in right there. Okay? 3 of them, I'm locking in. So now we're at 5-3. So let's just go through the rest of the games. All right, so here we go. Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. I'm saying the Bears win this game and beat the Tennessee Titans. I feel like the Titans are going to be one of the lesser teams in football. I know they have some offensive pieces. They signed Calvin Ridley. DeAndre Hopkins is still there, but we don't know how good Will Levis is. Tony Pollard didn't have a great year last year. The defense isn't all that. You can throw on them. I think the Bears are more talented. I think the Bears have a better defense. Give me the victory against the Tennessee Titans. I already talked about the loss against the Texans in Week 2. Week 3, the Colts. We play them at Indy. Now, hot take. I'm just not that big on Anthony Richardson. I know a lot of people are. I think they believe he's going to break out this year. Now, for fantasy football, he's going to be good. But we're talking real-life football, and I just don't see it with Anthony Richardson. And the Colts team, to me, I can't really call them anything besides just average. They don't scream elite to me. Again, if Anthony Richardson takes that leap, yeah, that changes. But, you know, weaponry-wise, you got Michael Pittman, you know, Josh Downs, like guys like that, Alec Pierce. Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. I'll give you that. Defensively, they're solid, but they're not special. So, to me, we can beat them. I don't think they're world beaters by any means. Even on the road in Indy, domed environment, give me Caleb in a dome all day, every day. Sorry, I just don't see it. I think the Bears beat them. All right, so that's a dub for me against the Colts, even on the road. Week 4 against the Rams. I'm going to say this one's a loss here. I really respect the Rams a lot, man. We're talking about a team that won a Super Bowl not too long ago, okay? Sean McVay's still there. Matthew Stafford's still there. They have 2 wide receiver ones in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Like, this team is elite, folks. Like, we know that they struggled last year, but that's because they dealt with injuries. They addressed a lot of their concerns in the offseason. I know Aaron Donald isn't there, but you can't take the Rams lightly. Now, the Bears are at home in this one, but I'm going to say the experienced team with the better coach and then the better quarterback as of right now. Caleb's a big fan of Matthew Stafford. I'm going to say they win this game. So that's an L for the Chicago Bears. Week 5, Panthers, I talked about that. Week 6, Jaguars. Okay, the Jaguars game is in London here. I'm saying this is a loss, strictly based off the fact this is in London. This is essentially a home game for the Jags, folks. Like, they play in London every single year. That long flight, layoff, you know, go ahead and deal with, you know, jet lag and all of those things. Like, I'm just going to chalk it up to that. I don't even think it's a talent thing. I think we're better than the Jaguars, but it's just one of those schedule losses, I feel like, okay? Week 8, Washington, that's a dub. We talked about that. 9 against Arizona, that's a win. Talked about that. Week 10, Patriots, that's a win. Now, Week 11, Packers at home. I'm going to go ahead and say, look, you only get credit when you are ahead of when it happens, not after the fact when it happens. We finally beat the Packers at least once. We're not getting swept. I'm sorry, Caleb is just too good to not make it happen. So if we beat the Packers, it's going to be in Chicago at Soldier Field. So give me a dub here for the Bears against the Packers, who, again, it's a solid team, man. Good in the trenches. We know they made the playoffs last year. Jordan Love's a good quarterback. But I think the Bears are better. I think they have more talent. And, again, you only get credit when you called it beforehand, not after the fact. So I'm going ahead and saying we beat the Packers at least once. Week 12 against the Vikings, I'm saying that's a dub for us. Week 13 against the Lions. Now, here we go. This is a rough stretch for the Chicago Bears. So hear me out. 13, 14, 15. We play 3 straight road games. And guess what? I got us losing 3 straight games here. This is going to be the roughest stretch of the season just because, again, we're on the road and we're playing tough opponents here. At Detroit, at San Fran, and then you got at Minnesota. Remember I mentioned we're getting 1 game against Mini at home, but on the road, division games, they're tough, all right? Even good teams lose division games because the opponent knows you so well. 3 losses here. Detroit's a really good team. We lose to them. San Fran, really good team. We lose to them. And I think we lose to the Vikings as well. So 3 straight losses there, rough stretch of the season. And then finally, to close it out, week 16, 17, and 18, we played Detroit again in 16. We beat them. Again, we played them really tight last year. We probably should have swept them. And that was with Justin Fields. So I see us beating them at least once with Caleb. Week 17 against the Seahawks. Give me the win there. Seahawks don't scare me either. They're not an elite team. We have their former OC, Shane Waldron. We should be able to beat them. And then week 18 against the Packers, this is a loss for the Bears. Again, I don't think we sweep Green Bay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's 1 loss right there. So there we go. That is the full schedule. Now let's count it up right here in front of you guys. The win total. So Titans 1, Colts 2, Panthers 3, Commanders 4, Cardinals 5, Patriots 6, Packers 7, Vikings 8, Detroit 9, and Seattle 10. So there you have it, folks. My final record prediction for the Chicago Bears. I really wanted to go to 11, but I'm going to say 10-7. This team is the most talented team I can remember in a while for a Bears team. They have arguably the best quarterback, certainly prospect for sure, but best quarterback, period, probably, that they've had in a very long time. Caleb has to live up to the hype. The weaponry is great. The defense is solid. Folks, I love this team. I love the potential, and the cherry on the cake is the fact that it's easy schedule. So the schedule combined with all of that, 10-7, and we're in the battle for the wild card spot. So that's what I have it for the Bears official record prediction. Let me know what you guys think, man. Agree or disagree, leave a comment down below with your thoughts as always. Thanks for watching.